Hey, what's up? My name is J.M. Chaley and welcome to my channel. This week I want to talk about Facebook ads, specifically Facebook ads for authors. Now, right now I'm doing Kindle Vella, as you know if you've been following my channel, but this isn't specific to Kindle Vella. It's specific to authors, people that are selling stuff on Amazon. I guess, it could be someone who has any product on Amazon, really, but I'm going to focus on authors. Now, this is sort of going to be like a two-part series, maybe. I'm going to show you all of the Facebook-y stuff for ads in this one video, but then I want to do a follow-up on my own ads that I've been running. And I started running them sort of in the beginning of February. I did like a test, and now I'm doing something kind of live the way I want it to be. And I'm going to let that run for the end of the month, and then sometime in March I want to do sort of a follow-up to say, hey, how did this do? How did this perform? What can I expect? How much money did I spend? That sort of thing. So keep an eye out for that. Follow this channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, you want to be alerted, you want to see when that video comes out, definitely subscribe to my channel. And it's going to pertain to my ads for my Kindle Vella series, but they can pertain to your ad or whatever you're selling, of course, your book series. It doesn't have to be Kindle Vella. Of course, I'm doing The Unlife of Lisa Cooper. And by the way, if you haven't checked that out, the link is in the description. It's vampire goodness. It's an action adventure. It's got a slow burn romance in it. It's got, as of this recording, 36 episodes released with more on the way. Lots of reading if you want to binge. There's a lot of fun, a lot of adventure. Check it out. I think you'll really like it. But let's get to the Facebook stuff. I want to cover this. I want to do what other people have done in, an hour or so videos. Some of these videos are longer than an hour, but we'll see. Let's see if we can get through this quickly as possible. Cram as much knowledge into this as possible and get right down to it. Okay, so I'm switching to my screen view here, and this is Ads Manager within Facebook. Basically, it's just facebook.com/ads manager. And you already see that I'm running something right now. I haven't been running it very long, and we'll get into all this kind of stuff later, but let's dive in with how you create something from scratch. So when you get there, it's gonna put you on this campaigns tab. So the very first thing you need to do is start a new campaign, create a new campaign, and you just click create. If you've never used Ads Manager before, it's going to want you to create a product page on Facebook. So if you don't have, let's say your book is called, well, let's use mine for example. I had no page called The Unlife of Lisa Cooper. I had no Facebook page called The Unlife of Lisa Cooper. I have a J.M. Chaley page, but there was no Unlife of Lisa Cooper page. So I had to create one to kind of tether this ad to. So it's going to tell you up here to go create your page if you haven't already done it. I have. But if you haven't, the first thing I would do is click on that, set it up. You can create your own logo and put pictures of your book out there. Take the time to make it look right, because this is going to be a Facebook page for your product. You want it to look nice and reflect your book. So take care of that. Then come back here. Choose a campaign objective. You want traffic, because at the end of the day, I know it says consider sending to a leads campaign. What you're after is clicks. You want someone to click on your link, right? You're going to put a Amazon link out there, for example, and you want people to click on it. You want traffic. Leads is gathering people that are going to be interested in your product but aren't necessarily engaging with you yet. So you're gathering potential customers, but in the end you want conversions. So you want traffic, you want clicks. That's really what it comes down to. So you continue, and it's very simple. You give it a campaign name. Special ad categories. This really doesn't apply to authors. You don't really have anything for this pertaining to what we have. Credit, employment, housing, social issues, right? For these, you want to take the default on. Most of these things, you're going to want to take the default on. So that's your campaign tab. Now we're going to move on to the ad set. So you hit next, and you give it a name. And you want to send it to a website, right? This is the default. You want to keep the default because you're probably sending folks to Amazon. here, again, we've chosen traffic before because we're after clicks. So you want to keep it at clicks, right? Cost per result goal. You can put this in. I leave it blank. Basically, Facebook takes about 50 clicks to hone in on your audience. It takes them a while to learn. So the last thing you want to do is limit its ability to figure out who your market is. And you can tell it, look, I don't want to spend more than 60 cents or $1 or whatever per result. And, I leave this blank because I want Facebook's machine learning to kind of do what it does. So when you get down to budget schedule, here's where you can kind of say how much you want to spend per day. You can pick daily or a lifetime. Lifetime will depend on when you start the campaign and when you end it. If you want to run it for a week or a month, you could say, hey, I only want to spend $100 for the duration. And right now I'm doing stuff with $5 a day. I'm going to see what happens when I make this $10 a day. Right now I'm not hitting my $5 a day limit. I'm getting close, but I'm curious to see if Facebook machine learning is holding anything back and saying, he's only spending $5 a day. I'm not going to give that many impressions because I'm running out of money. So what happens when I hit $10 a day? Am I going to get more impressions? Am I going to get more clicks? Let's see. This is something you definitely want to play around with before you go shoot the lock off and put in like $10 or $20 a day. It'll get expensive real fast. So you may want to set up a test. Here's where you set up a start date. Now, be careful because right now it's putting in, this is when I actually started this process, 1:40. It's now 1:50 p.m., so it's in the past. So it's going to bark at me and say, you can't start this. It's already in the past. So what you want to do is start this in the future. Pick like the next day. Noon tomorrow, this is going to start running. Because that way, it won't bark at me to say, oh, you can't start this campaign. It's in the past. And then if you want to have an end date, let's say you just want to have it run for a week, you can do that. Okay, so I just had a little bit of technical difficulty here, and I'm re-recording a section because my video wasn't matching up with my audio while I was editing this, and I'm not sure what happened. But let's pick up where I had last gone. So we're talking about custom audiences and detailed targeting. Your ad set can let you exclude certain demographics. You can see here, location, age. Maybe you're doing a YA, and maybe you don't want to pitch to someone who's over 40. I don't know. Genders. Honestly, I don't know why you would exclude anybody from your demographics. Right now the reach is 3.2K to 9.3K. Narrowing these down is only going to make those groups smaller. Your reach is going to shrink your reach down. That said, there is such a thing called detailed targeting, which means that, of these 9,000 people, maybe only 2,000 meet the criteria of what your audience ought to be, your target audience, right? So here is where you can really benefit from kind of targeting your demographic. So let's say, for example, you were a romance author and you want to target Danielle Steel, fans of Danielle Steel, the author. Boom. So the number here dropped, if you notice, it was 9 point something thousand. Now it's 8.7 thousand. But it's a more targeted result, which is good because ultimately you want clicks that are going to ultimately convert to sales or reads or what have you. And targeting your demographics could be a good thing. Now you can list multiple authors here, as many as you want. And you can, as it says, you can target different demographics, interests, behaviors, what have you. So you might want to play around with that. This is the opposite, by the way, of if you've been querying and you've been told and drilled into your head, don't ever compare your book to you know, the great authors, because agents don't want to see that. Like if you have a fantasy book, don't say, oh, my book is like The Hobbit, right? This is like J.R.R. Tolkien, you know, that sort of thing. Oh, I write romance and it's like Daniel Steele or Nora Roberts, right? You want to do that, right? Because you want to reach their audience. So here is where you are not shy, you're not humble, and you go after the big fish and go for the giant audience that these very successful authors already have. And again, you don't have to just pick authors. You can play around with this and see what other interests and behaviors might fit this criterion. Myself, I've already done targeted ads, and I want to create an ad that I can compare to an existing ad. So I'm going to leave this alone. Now, if you don't target anything and just let it be blank, Facebook machine learning will figure it out on its own. So this 9,000 reach, out of that 9,000, over time, the more impressions and more clicks you get, Facebook's going to learn how many of those 9,000 people are really potential clients, who, you know, people that are really going to buy your book. And it takes 50 clicks for Facebook to really start learning who those people are. So your ad may need to run for a while. So in my case, I'm going to leave detailed targeting off only because I'm playing with it somewhere else and I want to compare the two. So that's something to consider. I wouldn't touch anything up here with age, gender, right? But detailed targeting might be something worth exploring. Now it's asking for reach with detailed targeting with Advanced Plus, with Advantage Plus. I don't check this because down here, and by the way, if you do play around with a custom audience, you can save it and give it a name. But I leave this unchecked because down here, when I come to placements, I don't want to pick Advantage Plus. I want to pick manual. And your mileage may vary, but let me tell you why I pick manual. And that's because by default, your ad will appear in these 4 main categories. And as you know, you pay for impressions, not just clicks. So why would I want my ad to be shown in a place where people are likely not going to either notice it, ignore it, or it might piss them off, right? Like, is it popping up in a messenger somewhere, and who wants that? That's going to annoy them. So I uncheck these 2 things and keep it Facebook and Instagram. And then I come down here and I really customize this stuff. You know, do I want this in Facebook Marketplace? Which I always think of Facebook Marketplace as like the lawn ads. Nope. Video feeds. You can decide if you've got one of these nice long vertical rectangular ads, if it's good for feeds and, you know, stories and reels and stuff like that. Mine isn't, so I have a square ad, which looks better on a feed. So I check off video feeds. The right column, you know, on the right column of your Facebook page, those ads that are always ignored, why pay for those? I mean, I hardly even notice them. I uncheck that. Instagram Explore, you know, these features might become more interesting later. It reminds me almost like their attempt at Pinterest. I don't know, but it's not a good place to put an ad. It's not going to get noticed, I don't think, at least not today, this day, which is February of 2023. That might change. Instagram Shop, no. Facebook Business Explorer, no. And Stories and Reels, you know, I take off all of those. Again, the Stories and Reels. That's for me. I mean, you might be doing stuff with Reels. Reels are actually becoming super popular right now. So if your ad is actually a nice rectangular one, maybe you want to post in Reels instead of a news feed. Or maybe you want to do both. So for me, I chose no, but it might be a good fit for you depending on what your ad looks like. And we'll get to the ad soon, later in this video. Search, yes, you want to be found on a search. Messages, no. In article, I don't bother with those. I don't bother with this. Oops. I don't bother with the instant articles. Right? So that's pretty much where it is. And if you notice, my reach went down. But I don't mind that because I want my reach to be noticed. I don't want to just, cast my line out into the darkness and hope for the best. I want it to be as accurate as I can, especially if I'm paying for something or if I've declared a budget per day. I don't want to just waste money. I want my ad to appear on a Facebook feed as people are scrolling through content that they care about, fun memes or messages from their friends, and suddenly there's my ad along with all the stuff that matters, the stuff that they're paying attention to. Not popping up in unexpected places or places that are going to be overlooked, ignored, or might just aggravate them. So with that done, we click next and move on to the ad itself. Here you give it a name. And if you notice, it selected the Facebook page that I already had. That's why you needed to build it, because it ties your ad to that Facebook page. You can also tie your Instagram account to it. I haven't done that yet. You want to do create ad, but you can also, if you have a particularly interesting Facebook post that did really well, you can tether it to a post and basically boost that post into an ad. I like creating something from scratch, building it for the sole purpose of being an ad. Go into manual upload. I think that's the only option available for you. You want to choose single image or video. Take the defaults here. And then for media, you want to go into add media. And in my case, it's a video. Video is working better these days because the motion in the video catches your attention more than a still graphic. So I went with a video. And since I've already been playing around with it, I already have a couple that I can choose from. I choose one and hit next. If this is your first time, this will be empty, and you can click upload and choose a file from your hard drive, USB drive, wherever you're getting it from. Click next. Ignore this stuff. You might get some warnings that the ratio isn't ideal to fit, like in Reels. And that's kind of what it's warning me about here. But I'm not doing Reels for my ad, so I don't care. You want to fully optimize this when you're using it for the first time. This will be unchecked. You can check it on and click done. Then you have primary text. This is sort of, the text that appears up front, right up in this part here. You put your blurb, a little bit of your blurb up here, maybe something that catches the reader's attention. But hopefully the ad itself is really the attention giver. You don't want to put a lot of stuff up here. Write a headline, and that appears, oh, come on, it's not going to show me. That appears, well, it's down here in bold, right? So, and again, this would be a lot more meaningful if I put more thought into it. The description, you can add more context here. I leave this blank because honestly, there's so much to read. You want your viewers to focus on your ad, your graphic, your video, whatever it is. You don't want to have them read all this kind of stuff. I just leave this blank. Call to action. This is the button that they're going to click on to do something, right? Learn more is the default. We've all seen that. I would change this to shop now because honestly, we're doing traffic. This is a traffic-based campaign. We want them to click. We're after the click. So we want to make it very clear that when they click on this ad, they're shopping. Whether it's shopping for a book, they're going to look at our Kindle Vella series, our latest episode. We want them to read. We want some sort of transaction from the end user here, the customer. So shop now is a very direct way to say, click it and get it. Not learn more, shop. And because we want every click to matter. We don't want someone to click and not understand what they're going to. Because that's just a wasted click and we're paying for that. So we want to help Facebook understand that clicks mean something, and that when someone clicks on something, they know that they're shopping. Helps the customer, helps Facebook, helps you. It's all good. Web URL. Facebook doesn't like a lot of URLs for whatever reason, and if anyone has any idea of why that is, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. I did have a friend tell me that because my page, the Unlife of Lisa Cooper page, was created so soon prior to creating ads, that Facebook flags it as sort of a, oh, you just stood up this business a couple of weeks ago. Clearly, you must be peddling smut, right? And flags everything I put as adult content. When all I'm really putting is a link to my Kindle Vella series. So, for whatever reason, I've had better luck pasting in tiny URLs and letting Facebook, measure against that. But you may have your ad rejected. You can go back in and say, review this ad, and usually it'll come back and say, yeah, you're fine. But just know that a lot of these websites, URLs, regardless of what they are, get rejected from Facebook. And if anyone has any good reason for that, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. You can also display the link for the user to see where they're going. But honestly, it's just more text for them to read. The other stuff, I'd leave blank. Call extension, all this kind of stuff, doesn't apply. Languages might not apply. All this other stuff, the tracking, shouldn't apply. And then you click publish. Now, I'm not going to publish this myself because I don't want to send it off into my account, but that's what you do. Once you've published, you hit close, and it'll show you your ad, and from there you can wait until it actually goes live. So that about wraps it up. Facebook ads, I tried to make it as short as possible, but there's a lot to it. Play around with this thing. You want to really get a good handle on it before you let it go wild. Trust the Facebook machine learning. It really does a good job. Let's see how that runs. And I'm going to circle back with everyone to let you know how I did on my metrics, what I ran, how long I ran, what my stats are. I'm going to share all this kind of stuff with you. So again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, definitely subscribe. Be on the lookout for that video. I'm probably going to do it, maybe in the spring sometime when I've really had some good amount of time to run this ad for a while, or these ads, plural, for a while, and get a good understanding of what it took to increase my traffic. I'm already starting to see some clicks, and I'm starting to see some reads on my Kindle Vella series, so that's good. But it's really just starting off, and I don't want to report on stuff prematurely until Facebook's really got a good understanding of who my audience is, how they're reaching them, and how my audience is reacting. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so if you like this video, please give it a like, and as always, please subscribe. We just literally just talked about that. And you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Definitely follow me on social media. You'll keep up to date with what's going on with my Kindle Vella series, my YouTube channel, all this kind of stuff, especially if you've been following the Lisa Cooper stuff. There's a lot coming. There's some big things coming, and I'm going to have a video for that soon, so definitely watch out for that. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.